guys, Survivor is back. It's season 34, and we're here to chat about it.
Hey, everybody. If you're interested in the cast assessment, check the link in the info.
Yeah.
And by the way, this was the 500th episode for Survivor.
Oh, yay!
Right. Big up yourselves.
For sure. So this season is called Game Changers.
And most of the players are game changers.
It's
Some are
pretty darn exciting.
not so much, but...
You gotta have balance, you know?
Yeah. Alright, so there's two tribes. They're on the boat. They're looking at a shipwreck.
That's really encouraging.
I know. Jeff says, yeah, there's a life ring out there, and the life ring is a marker for two fishing kits.
Just toolkits.
Toolkits. And whoever unties them, one of them first, gets to keep it. But at the same time, you gotta grab stuff from the boat.
Yeah, they got food.
For your tribe.
It's like the freaking cornucopia at the beginning of the Hunger Games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can punch people in the face. No, you can't. But, like, you want to grab what your tribe is going to get a lot of use out of.
Yeah, because there's not going to be, like, unlimited supplies of stuff. Some of the things, like the chickens, there was really only one cage.
One crate,
of chicken.
yeah.
So, what's more important? The tools or the food?
Or the stuff. Well, you only had to send out one person, so...
Right. But sometimes that one person can make all the difference in the world.
Like, freaking Beast Ozzy.
Yeah. So Ozzy goes out there
for his tribe, and everybody's like, oh, well, like, Ozzy's out there, we're not going to get it then. Like, he's going to get it.
But then eventually, Caleb went out there. But it was too late, because Ozzy got it.
Yeah. There was also an advantage hidden under something, and Andrea totally missed it. She was, like, stepping right over it.
How could you freaking miss that? When
well, there's a lot going on.
Didn't you, like, see?
I guess not. She was like, there's a lot going on.
Sierra ended up picking it up.
Blonde Sierra.
Taller Sierra. And Ty got the chickens, but they almost drowned.
It was scary, yeah.
I was afraid for them.
I was scared, but I was glad that I was like, I hope Ty gets the chickens.
Wasn't there, like, 5 chickens this season?
It was like 4 or 5 and a rooster.
Whoa. Last time there was only 2.
Mm-hmm.
So, at Mana...
I keep wanting to say Moana. It's just an I thing. I've been listening to a lot of Moana. It just came out on DVD. Right. But anyway, the Mana tribe.
When they got to the beach, Tony ran off and said, I'm going to go look for the idol. That was a little crazy.
Yeah, he claims that he was like just gonna joke about it if people followed him and be like, yeah, I'm just kidding, you guys, I'm just messing with you. But then nobody followed him at first.
So he really started looking for it, I guess. Yeah. And then he got to the water area and he said, hey, everybody's expecting a spy shack, so I'm gonna dig out a spy bunker.
Oh my god. This was so freaking funny.
It was.
He was like butt in the sand, kicking his legs out, trying to build up this spy bunker. So funny. Okay, love him or hate him, but Tony is really entertaining.
He's very, very entertaining.
He keeps this game moving. It's great.
Yeah. So, Sierra is like, you know what?
We can't deal with this crap. We need to get rid of Tony.
Exactly.
Or... you know, he already went out looking for an immunity idol, so there is a chance that he already has one. So, she's like, maybe we should take out Caleb, who seems to be his right-hand man.
Yeah.
Not beast mode.
Well, over at Nuku, there's some goats.
There's like a whole family of goats running around.
I hope they
This better not
survive.
be, like, a bad omen, like they're gonna...
Yeah.
No foreshadowing. Please just let them live and be happy.
I know. So, Sierra has her secret advantage. She's on that tribe.
Mm-hmm. It's another legacy one.
She opens it up, and it says that you have to use it on when there's 13 people left or 6 people left.
It's an immunity.
Right. And if you get voted out, you have to pass it on.
I like these legacy
I like the legacy things, too, because I don't like to see it go out with the person.
I like when they write their names on the envelope, and they're like, this person had it, and this
it's like
a school
in
textbook.
Our office mail.
Yeah.
All right, so this tribe also has the toolkit.
So they're building that shelter, they're like
nobody's business. Sarah was all like, hey, let's build this. And it happened.
Okay.
All right, so...
Cops are us.
Sari and Ozzy were on the same season.
one time. They both played like this is their fourth time playing. So, you know, eventually you cross paths. So, yeah, there's a little bit of baggage there because Suri was one of the people who voted him out like 8 years ago.
So she's like, hey, is everything okay?
Nope. No, he said yes. And
but
it seemed like
no.
It seemed like she believed it.
Right.
You know, she thought they were good, but then she was talking to Ty, and Ty was like,
maybe you should work things out with Ozzy.
And she's just like, oh, wait, what?
Yeah.
What's going on here? So she's getting nervous about the Ozzy situation.
All right. Well, it's time for the immunity challenge. The very first one on episode 500. It's a water obstacle course. I would suck at this. I do not swim well.
There was a lot going on here.
And then after you get back on land, you got to dig up some puzzle pieces. There's a wagon wheel puzzle. If you win, you get immunity and fire. Jeff also dropped a little bomb on them. He said there's not going to be any more revote this season.
Yeah, so if there's a tie at Tribal Council, it will go straight into a discussion. They have to decide, you know, this person goes or this person goes. If they can come to a unanimous decision, fine, that person's out. If not, they're drawing rocks.
Whoa. I know. How many times do they say, oh, let's split the votes? What if there's a tie?
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, so this one was pretty evenly matched. They were neck and neck when they finally got to the puzzle.
And this is a puzzle that Sierra has done before. She was actually doing this puzzle against her mom.
And lost.
And she lost it. So you would think like, oh, she's got an advantage here. She's already done this. And she wants to win it this time.
Nope, she likes to lose.
Oh.
So she ended up losing and Nuku won immunity, which means somebody from Mana is going home. So, Tony's group says, let's vote out Sierra.
So they're all standing there.
Because they've been throwing out his name, and he don't like that.
They all said that Sierra's really the only person who's been throwing out names so far, and they feel like she's going to be one of the weaker ones in the challenges, so they're like, let's keep the tribe strong, and let's get rid of her.
And as they say this, who shows up?
Of course she starts walking up, and they're like, oh, who are we going to tell? Because you got to have a name for somebody.
Tell them
You got to have a name when somebody's like, who are we getting rid of? Because you can't be like, you?
Yeah. So she knows that Michaela is kind of an outsider. Nobody
knows her. They didn't see her season. They shot this before her season even aired.
So she feels pretty comfortable with them saying Michaela.
Like, all right, we're getting rid of Michaela. It's not me. Sounds good.
But then
Michaela gets wind of this.
Michaela's like, if we're voting out Sierra, who does Sierra think we're voting out? You? And she was like,
hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Here.
She almost lost it.
She was getting really pissed. She was like, this needs to change. She had her freaking sweater on. She's like, this is important. She's like,
yeah.
She was pissed. And she's like, you can't contain greatness. And she's going off. And it's kind of rubbing people the wrong way. They're
especially Sandra.
She's like, damn, maybe we should just get rid of Michaela.
Yeah.
We can get rid of Sierra whenever.
Well, at Tribal, Sandra was hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't know how she does it. She is just...
she's charming and smart.
She is super smart.
Yeah.
She is probably the best player to play Survivor ever. Ever. All right, so loose lips sink ships. So keep your mouth shut.
Sierra starts getting a little nervous after Haley said that. She's like, oh crap, like, am I maybe going home? Like, what's going on here? But then it's time for the vote. And guess what? Yeah, Sierra's out. It was a blindside, 9-1. Ooh, that's unusual for the first Tribal.
Yeah.
To be that unanimous with it.
Well, this was a double episode. So the second episode started, and we start out with the Mana tribe, and it's Tony, Aubrey, Malcolm, Caleb, and Sandra in an alliance.
Yeah, I mean, they're down to 9 people now, so there is that opportunity to get the majority here.
Right.
And Tony's like, all of us targets need to stick together. So he's trying to pull together the biggest targets in the group.
And he had a pretty good argument. There's 2 winners there.
On that tribe.
And the only way that a non-winner is going to award the winner money is if there's going to be more than one winner at the final.
Okay.
Right.
I don't think that's true, but I could see why
It's
he
a
would
good
argue
argument,
that to
though.
someone who's won. And Sandra was like, yeah, of course, same.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think she really bought that either.
I think they
but
were planning to actually work together, though.
to a point.
For now.
Yeah.
Right.
She's not going to take him to the end.
All right. Well, it's never that easy. So
No.
everybody's asleep pretty much, but then Tony is just freaking
Except for
staring
Tony.
at everyone.
That was terrible.
He's standing up, staring at everyone sleeping.
When he makes sure that everybody's asleep, he goes back to the water and starts digging out his bunker again.
Ass in the sand.
And he hears somebody coming, so he gets in it. And he's listening, and it's Sandra and Troyzan.
So this was like a casual thing. Troyzan's just like, oh, what do you think? What do you think about Tony?
They weren't even saying anything bad.
Not really, no.
But she automatically lies to Tony and is like, oh yeah, we were talking about
Well,
putting crates next to the fire.
He asked her what it was about in front of Troyzan. So, like, why would she say it in front of Troy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why would she give that up in front of Troyzan?
Yeah, but it wasn't even anything, like, incriminating.
Well, I mean, he was asking about Tony, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He heard his name. But
Yeah.
still, you would think he would give Sandra the chance to talk at a later time
Right.
without Troyzan.
It's true.
But no, he was just like, oh, this is it. Like, she just lied to me. We can't work together. He's freaking out. And then Sandra's feeling shady about it, too. She's like, I'm not
freaking
working
out
with
too.
him.
So neither of them want this alliance that they have started anymore. So Sandra's like, F Tony, yeah.
She's chatting everybody up, trying to flip this and get a new alliance of 5 together.
She is amazing.
She literally went
see her work.
to the 4 people that were not in that group and were just like, this is what we're doing. And they were like, yes.
Tony knows he's in trouble too, and he's going on the "We Need to Keep the Tribe Strong" tour. Mm-hmm. And he, of course, he's going to his bromance. He's going to Malcolm,
Caleb and Malcolm.
Zeke. Zeke
Is
no.
not on that tribe.
Zeke's not on that tribe. I totally made that up. Jeff.
Alright.
All right. So at Nuku, Ty's the chicken man again. He's taking care of the chickens.
Yes!
He's giving them corn and names,
Mm-hmm.
and he's making everybody love them for the moment anyway.
You
They're not that
know, there's
hungry
going to come a
yet.
day when they're like, Ty, we're going to have to eat these chickens.
know.
No! Don't!
I hope Ty can convince them to keep
Or
the
like,
chickens
set them
intact.
free.
Yeah.
Like, uh-oh, they got away. Oops.
Yeah. All right. So Sari is worried. I'm a little bit worried that Debbie does not know her name. She keeps
Debbie
calling
kept-
her Cherie.
She kept calling her Cherie. Come on, Debbie.
All right.
No.
She sees JT and Ozzy and Zeke, and they're all looking like they're talking about her.
She's
and
really not okay with the whole Ozzy situation.
No. So she's trying to make a Sari alliance.
Yeah.
She goes to Sarah, and Sarah's like,
Sarah's like, yeah, cool. And then in her interview, she's like, yeah, I played like a cop last time, and that didn't work. So now I'm a criminal.
That's right. Let's see how far it gets me this time.
Yeah, we cannot get that accent right
No.
tonight. All right, then Cerie's like, Zeke? And Zeke is like, yes, queen. I actually do see them working together in the future.
I do too.
And then she tries things with Debbie. Debbie can't even say her name right. And Debbie has not fallen for this. She does not want to work with Cerie. She doesn't trust her.
All right, so it's time for the immunity challenge, and it's another water obstacle course.
This one was interesting, though.
It had a 400 freaking pound wet snake.
Not a real snake,
No.
guys. But
It was like canvas.
they had to, like, untie this thing and get it over this cage.
This was great. Well, first they had to like paddle out on a raft and then
No, it
climb
wasn't
in
the
the
raft
cage.
in the first one.
The raft was in the first one.
They swam out to this one.
They swam out to this one. They had to jump in the cage, untie the snake. Jeff Varner was totally useless.
And Jeff Probst was not afraid to point it out.
Hell no.
And then again, Jeff Varner was like, yeah, I can't do this. You guys do it.
I don't have any energy, guys.
I don't have the strength for this.
All right, so once you got that snake out of the cage, which, by the way, took forever for Mana? Yes. They could not, they kept dropping it. They had to take it across the balance beam. It kept falling off. They were
It was a
so
struggle.
far behind.
They were.
They looked like there was no possible way
Yeah.
that the other tribe could lose.
So then you had to get your numbered tiles out of the snake. You got to get the combination lock going. And then there's a ring toss at the end.
Right. You had to get all the paddles to spell immunity. You had to toss them on.
Nuku was so far ahead. And
ridiculously far ahead.
They were doing pretty good on that ring toss. But then all of a sudden... freaking Mana
out of nowhere
creeps up onto that ring toss. You got Malcolm doing
Malcolm's
it.
like,
oh my god!
And it came down to him and JT at the end. Like, Malcolm had 2 to get, and JT had 1, and unfortunately, it just wasn't enough for Malcolm to flip it. And
that would have been a huge comeback.
That would probably one of the most amazing ones that I've ever seen. That would have been
crazy. But yeah, JT won it for his tribe.
Nuku wins immunity
again.
Mana has to go to tribal.
Ooh.
And Michaela's pretty pissed they lost because she asked Malcolm,
not a loser.
Hey, can I tag in? You know, do you need a break? And he was like, yeah, no.
I mean, from what we saw though, Malcolm was doing a really good job on that ring toss. He was doing a really good job. So maybe it wouldn't have been a good idea to switch at that time.
But she is really...
She's really good at these competitions.
All right, so Sandra wants Tony out. She also wants to split the votes because she's
might have an idol.
Right. And they tell Tony, we're voting out Aubrey. Mm-hmm. But Tony's not stupid.
Yeah, he's telling everybody we got to keep this tribe strong.
Yep.
We got to take out somebody else who's not me.
Like...
Sandra?
What?
What?
So Tony talks to Caleb. He's like, you know, we could probably flip Michaela. She, you know, she believes that we should keep the tribe strong because she's a strong player.
Right.
So let's see what happens to tribal.
All right.
Tony says, we need to keep the tribe strong.
It's more of the same stuff. You know, do you get rid of a weak player in the competitions or do you get rid of a big threat here? Or somebody who's messing with the minds of the rest of the tribe?
Malcolm says, we need to keep the tribe strong. Michaela says, don't send a strong player home.
Yeah, so Sandra's sitting there. She's like, ooh, I'm getting nervous. But is she rolling?
No. Troyzan says, after the vote, he thinks he'll be less paranoid.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. The funniest part of this tribal, well, it was a few funny parts, but the bug in Sandra's hair.
Girl, you're on Survivor.
There's snakes and like freaking scorpions and stuff, and you're worried about a bug in your hair?
It was great.
So Tony is totally in the bros club. He thinks he's got Caleb, Jeff, Malcolm. Mm-hmm. They want to keep the strong players.
All right. Well, it's time for the vote. And guess what? Tony was blindsided.
That was crazy.
There were only 2 votes that weren't for him. It was himself and Sandra, right? Who voted for Aubrey.
That's right.
To split the vote just in case. I can't believe how freaking smoothly this went for Sandra. She really is the queen.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Then she yelled at him, that's what you get. Take your ass home and say hi to Sierra.
Well, because he was all like, oh, you're all sheep being led to the slaughter. I am a little disappointed to see Tony go home so early.
He's very entertaining.
I wanted to see more of that spy bunker. And he didn't even get to do his rock trick. Like, we're missing a lot of stuff there, but I am glad that Sandra's still there. Because she's amazing.
You thought this week was exciting? Just wait until next week. It's Drop Your Buffs time.
Already? I just spit everywhere.
Oh, awesome.
Already?
And goats.
No. All right.
And hidden immunity idols.
In the challenge.
I love when they do that. Because it's like...
It's risky.
I know it's there, but it's like the telltale heart. Do I go for it?
All right.
Can anyone else see it?
Let us know what you guys thought of this big premiere episode. Who are you rooting for? And
Sandra.
Until next time, much love.